Hello and welcome to the show. Today we are going to continue on the difficulty of selling your fintech ideas in Nigeria. But before I continue, the TV stations, the blogs, they've been all awash with the recent world, what's that thing called? Guinness World Book of Records. Yes, the recent attempt by a Nigerian chess master who has been trying to raise money for his charity for children in slums in Lagos. And it's been a news item. Lots of people have been writing about it. And these days, whenever I open my LinkedIn, those are the sorts of things that I see over there. People commiserate. Sorry, not commiserating. What's the word? When you're trying to congratulate someone, basically, and everybody's newsjacking on getting on that bandwagon. Now, before we get into today's question, I'd like to make a comment on those of you who are first of all, who are trying to use content to promote your business. Now, using content to promote your business is a very good idea. I mean, because after all, that's what I do over here on the podcast. I'm counting on the fact that I'm going to be addressing business questions that are relevant to people who are trying to, people in the founder space, the SME space, people who are trying to get the business up and going, and people who are self-employed. And I do that by making content, not just audio content, written content, stuff on Instagram. So it's a good idea to promote your business. Now, newsjacking, which is taking advantage of things that are currently popular or in the media, is a viable strategy for how to build your businesses. But I think people go about newsjacking the wrong way. And this chess story is an example of how. So this fellow is doing his thing, and yes, we're all Nigerians and we're proud, but somehow you think that by writing a post about what is going on in the news, what is trendy and all that, is going to bring you more eyeballs on your business. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the people who are trying to newsjack are writing about this story, and it's not something that is even remotely related to your core business. So I am a sales coach. I'm a business consultant. I'm a business growth podcaster. And I only talk about business problems. Go figure. Anyone who comes across my material is going to see my mastery and my knowledge of the subject matter and think, okay, this might be a decent boy to do some business with. Hopefully, they give me a call. That's how it works. But if you run an engineering firm or a sales firm or you're a carpenter, how does talking about trendy things in news like a Guinness Book of Records world attempt by a Nigerian, how does that help to grow your business? So people are trying to newsjack on things that are not related to their business in any way. And so you put up this post, but there's no reason for the person to associate you as a specialist in something. There's no reason for the person to check this post that you've written on this attempt for another Guinness Book of World Records. There's no reason for the person to look at that and maybe click through to your website. There's no nexus. There's no connection. There's absolutely no reason. And so you are newsjacking the wrong way. Another thing, people who rely on newsjacking for content, you'll find that their content production is sporadic. Now let's go back to me. Because I'm making content that is business focused and I'm answering business questions, I have reason to be on the mic every single day because business questions will never finish. So I always have reason to be on the mic. When you want to newsjack, things are trendy in news cycles, but they only come around every once a month or something. So, war in Gaza, you newsjack. And then you do 2 or 3 pieces, but you can't do that forever. Things go quiet. Then let's see what else. What happened next? I can't remember. One more thing. You newsjack. Then things go quiet. Then Guinness Book of World Records. Nigerian is attempting it. Then you newsjack. You see that your content production is going to be sporadic, and it's also going to be disparate and disconnected from what it is that you actually do. So if you run an engineering firm or a project management consultancy, writing about all these things just because they are trendy is not doing anything in a way that brings eyeballs to your business. However, if you're able to newsjack in a way that highlights your skills, or highlights your knowledge base, then that's a different thing. If you have a project management consultancy and you're going to write about the war in Gaza, showing how militants can use project management principles, to help their guerrilla warfare, or the Israeli government can use project management principles in humanitarian efforts on either side of the battlefield, can you see how you are newsjacking, but you are using your skill set to you're newsjacking, but you're using the news to throw attention on your area of specialty and your skill set. That is the way to do it. So if you write about Tunde Onakoya and him trying to break the world record, and you're talking about how you can use project management principles to defeat opponents, because part of the record is not just that you play for 24 hours, but that you play for 24 hours unbeaten. And he had a partner to help him break the world record, another chess player, but the fellow was American. So if you're going to write about how you can use project management principles to do the whole thing, look, I don't know anything about project management, so I'm just freestyling here, I'm just guessing. But if you can do that, then you are newsjacking in the right way. So please, if you must newsjack, it's not every single thing that you should write upon, tweet upon, blog upon. But if you must tweet, blog, write, make a podcast about whatever it is that is trending in the news, the proper way to newsjack is to see how you can lend your knowledge, your skill set, your expertise, your whatever to enrich or to pull out some insights, inject some insights. You get the whole idea. That's the proper way to newsjack, to comment on the news, but in a way that reflects back on you to show your own expertise and make you seem like you are a credible professional to work with. So a lot of you newsjacking, please just give it a rest. Or if you must, do it the right way. Another funny thing about newsjacking is this. Because everybody is newsjacking, now that I open up my LinkedIn, or now that you open up your whatever, everybody is talking about the same thing. Now, do you think you are going to stand out in business if you are talking and sounding exactly the same way that everybody is? It's a sea of sameness when I open my LinkedIn now, because that's all everybody is talking about. I told somebody this, I don't think the person kind of gets my gist, but just look at it this way. If everybody is talking about the Guinness World Book of Record attempt, you open up LinkedIn, that is all you see. So, excuse me. But then you have a couple of folks, like me, for instance, who are staying true on mission and writing about other things I want to write about. It is precisely at times like that that our content stands out the most, because everything is a sea of same. When it was Gaza, everybody was writing Gaza. So if you're scrolling Gaza, 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 and then next thing, my profile comes up, pattern interruption, you notice, because I'm talking about something different. I'm not part of the sea of the same. So that's also another reason why you guys should be careful about newsjacking. You end up being part of the sea of the same. So, in my own opinion, newsjacking, it's not a bad idea. It's a good idea. A bunch of you are just going about it wrong. Learn how to newsjack the right way. Check Google. Just enter it in Google, enter it in ChatGPT or whatever AI resource you use. Strategies for newsjacking. And then follow those strategies. Instead of writing on Gaza today, world record attempt tomorrow, who knows, maybe tomorrow there might be something out in the news about, I don't know, maybe the president having an affair, and then you comment on that as well. And then maybe next month a famous pastor dies, then you comment on that as well. I mean, that's not how to go about newsjacking. Anyway, let me go ahead and answer the question, because we've done 10 minutes and this was not the main reason why I hopped on the podcast today. So the difficulty of selling your fintech ideas in Nigeria, one of the problems that people have in the fintech space is a saturated market. But now some people say maybe, maybe not. But then again, I guess it's because it's a new space. But the thing is, if you're paying attention to the blogs, what else, the podcast, it sounds as if new startups are starting up every other week or every month. And there are loads of names that you can talk about in the Nigerian space. I mean, so like in the payment space, there's Paystack, there's Flutterwave, and I mentioned that Paga has been around for a very long time. Feels like they've been around for forever. I don't know how long they've been around, Sha. Then in remittance, there's Quick Teller, World Remit. Let's see what else. Wealth management, Cowrywise. Okay, been seeing the advertisements here and there. Bamboo, Rice Vest, and you can go on and on and on and tons of these companies. And these are the ones that seem to have stuck around. We're not even talking about the ones that you hear about today and then they're gone tomorrow. So some people say no, it's not saturated. Some people say it's saturated. But anyway, it's not a bad idea to learn how to differentiate yourself, no matter what business area, what business segment, industry that you're playing in. So, assuming that we do have a saturated market when it comes to fintech ideas in Nigeria, then how do you stand apart? And these are a couple of suggestions. Number one is to try particular kinds of niches. Yes, we have discussed this in a previous episode where we spoke about how to stand. What was it? Okay, I can't remember the exact way that we worded it, but I think it was about how to stop yourself from being commoditized or something like that. So one of the ideas that we explored in that episode was trying out a niche. And so you can try out a specific niche because most people, when they want to try and solve business problems, will be as general as possible. And a whole lot of these startup ideas, seem to sound very general. Like, for instance, all the startups that are trying to solve the problems of, people in the UK, people in the US trying to send money back home. I mean, they're all trying to solve the same problem, essentially. So, how do you make yourself sound different from the next company, which was set up precisely to solve the problem of you're in the UK, Momsy is in Niger, Popsy is in Niger, dependents are in Niger, you want to send money back home. How do you do it? So one way is to go niche. Instead of going broad, go niche. People have looked at it different ways. Tried things like maybe only mobile money, or maybe only POS, or maybe only microloans. But let's look back to this whole thing of sending money back from the UK. I mean, who knows? Maybe if you niche according to regional affiliations, if that's a thing. I'm not even sure if that would be ethical or something. But let's say you happen to be known as that company who in Nigeria focuses on the East and maybe the eastern part of Nigeria and maybe what's that place called? Like Benin, Edo, something central. I can't remember. But let's say you're that part that focuses on maybe like Edo people, and then you go all the way down to Igbo people, and then Ndoni, and that part of the country. So that's one way of niching down because you'll be known as that company for Nigerians in diaspora who are trying to send money home, not by the general populace, but by Igbo people, by Delta people, by Edo people, by Ishan people, by Ndoni people, by Ekwere people, by, all those sorts of things. For those of you who are non-Nigerians listening to the episode, those are tribes or ethnicities that belong to a certain part of the country. So, that can be one way that you can niche and set yourself apart. So, niching down, that's one way. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Okay, well, we've looked at niching down. Okay, yeah. So one of the reasons why we might have lots of fintechs, and one of the reasons why we can explore lots of different niches, at least for now in Nigeria, is because we have a large unbanked population. So there's lots of opportunities there. And then with this population, we have people that have diverse needs. There's some people who are trying to sort out payments, an internal thing. Like today, went with wifey to the market, GTB card, normal. It got declined twice, and then dispense error, blah blah blah. So maybe that's a problem that you might try to solve. Payments internal. Then there's the whole thing of what's it called? Not remittance. I can't remember what it's called. This whole thing of people abroad trying to send money back home. That's a problem that you can try and solve. Then there's also wealth management. But bottom line, what I'm trying to say is that Nigeria, we have a large population. Lots of these people are unbanked, and people are having different problems. So there are lots of ways that you can niche down. So yeah. So niching, yeah. You can focus on geography, you can focus on underserved segments, which is kind of what I was going for when I was talking about people from a certain situation of the country. Because, like, when you see all the adverts and stuff like that, it's obvious that when people are talking about anyway, let me stop before I say something that is politically incorrect. So you can also focus on demographics. So am I trying to solve problems of people in rural areas or people in or the youth? Look at people's financial needs. Are you going to niche down on microloans segments, or you never know? You can even come up with some fintech thing that is around Sharia compliance. I mean, you never know. You guys are smart. You guys and girls are smart. You fintech people. So go ahead, give it a think. See what kind of interesting products that you can come up with that actually solve problems that exist. Then another way of differentiating yourself is, sorry about that, is to come up with differentiated value propositions. Okay, how will I put this? Okay, your value prop basically is the reason that you give why people do business with you. So one of the reasons could be that you are more user friendly than the rest. Like GTB, they rolled out the banking app. That was the new banking app and the new interface. Anyway, that was a while ago, a couple of months ago, and that was their thing, that it's supposed to be more user friendly. And I've heard lots of people attest to the fact that it is user friendly, but for me, I don't really see the difference because I have GTB, I have Access Bank. I think they're the same. I mean, the user interface is the same, but people are going on and on about how the new GT app seems to be intuitive, things like that. So that can be a way that you differentiate yourself. There are some people who try to differentiate on low fees and cost, where the lowest service provider this, where the cost effective, blah, 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 blah. It's not something that I prefer, or rather, I don't think it's something you should start with as a value proposition, that we're cheapest, or you save more, or, something. I don't think we should all start out that way in businesses. Then, 2 or 3 episodes ago, I also spoke about how you can use partnerships to distinguish yourself and also gain access to other people's customer base. And the example that I gave was the app that partnered with the bank. And I remember the name of the bank now was Sterling Bank. So they partnered with Sterling Bank. They came up with some app. So the app is not Sterling Bank's app. So the FinTech boys and girls, they have the app, and they're supposed to get access to several federal government grants. So you're getting the grant. This app is in partnership with Sterling Bank, but you're not signing into your Sterling app to access the whole thing. You're signing into these people's app. And I spoke about how, there are a couple of problems because one of my guys who's a photographer, he showed it to me and, it's glitchy. And in fact, he was even wondering whether it's a scam. And we checked online, seems like it's legit, but I told the guy, just go into the branch and talk to someone. There might be someone who'll be able to help you sort this thing out. Anyway, business differentiation is not necessarily my area of specialty, so I'll leave it to you guys to go and check the interwebs, go and check Google, and come up with ideas about how you can differentiate your business if you're starting a fintech. There are some older ideas that we've explored on the podcast, about how you can differentiate yourself through the sales process. And one of the reasons why I say you can do that is because if you sell different, you sound different, you appear different, then people will just assume that you are, in fact, different. So sometimes selling different from how everybody else sells can make you appear different. So when you're done listening to this episode, check previous episodes. You might have to scroll a bit because we have done over 820 episodes so far. So thanks for your time and attention. Connect with me on WhatsApp. The phone number is 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the show. You can confirm the spelling of my name and my email address from the link where you're currently listening to this episode. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode. Sorry for the long rant about newsjacking, but it's something that you guys seriously ought to consider. Like, if there's any of you who are thinking of starting a fintech and you're using newsjacking and you're using it wrong, and I run into any of you in person, I'm going to give you guys a knock on the head because it's lame. Newsjack, but newsjack the right way. Just use Google and use Google, exercise your creativity, and you find ways about how you can use newsjacking strategies to work for you. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.